The 7th encounter in the Siege of Orgrimmar is the Kor'Kron Dark Shaman, Earthbreaker Haromm and a Wavebinder Kardris, and their fluffy pets Darkfang and Bloodclaw.
Both Haromm and Kardris share health, so damaging one will damage the other as well.
At the beginning of the fight, Darkfang and Bloodclaw should be focused immediately and killed. The 2 pets use Swipe, a frontal cone attack, and Rend, a stacking bleed. It's much easier if the 2 pets just get out of the way at the beginning.
Each boss has their own set of abilities that will come into play depending on their health.
Each ability will also be represented by a totem on the ground. Haromm will use Frost Stormstrike, which hits his current target, and applies a stacking debuff that increases damage taken from Frost Stormstrike by 25% for 30 seconds. This will require their tanks to switch. Kardris uses Frost Stormbolt, which is a nuke that is casted on the boss's current target, which deals a high amount of frost damage. This is uninterruptible. When the bosses reach 85% health, they begin to use Toxic Mist and Toxic Storm. Haromm will use Toxic Mist, a 30-second dot on a random raider that will deal damage every 3 seconds. Each tick applies a debuff that increases nature damage taken by 10%. This ability cannot be dispelled. Kardris will use Toxic Storm. This is a cloud that will move about the fight area, lasting for about 90 seconds. Anyone caught in it will take damage. This cloud will also spawn Toxic Tornadoes, which will also move around the area. If hit, it will deal damage and knock up players. This ability is casted every 30 seconds. Once the bosses are DPS down to 65% health, the bosses begin casting Foul Stream and Foul Geyser. Haromm will use Foul Stream. This will target a random raider with a green light. After a few seconds, a giant green line will connect from the player to the boss. Anyone in the line will take large amounts of damage. This ability is used about every 30 seconds. If you are targeted by this, move the line away from other raiders if you can. Kardris will use Foul Geyser for 8 seconds, which will send out projectiles that will cause splash damage when they land, and spawn adds called Foul Slimes. These slimes have a damaging aura that deals constant nature damage to anyone within 3 yards. It ticks for 100k every second, so standing next to these slimes is near impossible. These adds will need to be focused and killed by ranged DPS immediately. Since the adds can't really be tanked, simply kite them away if they come close to you.
Once the bosses reach 50% health, they cast Ashen Wall and Falling Ash.
Haromm will use Ashen Wall, which will summon a wall of fire elementals that will attack raiders that get close enough. This ability is casted every 30 seconds. Going through the wall is risky and possibly can lead to being killed. However, using abilities like Leap of Faith or Blink will allow you to traverse the wall unharmed. Kardris will use Falling Ash. This causes a giant circle to appear on the ground, where a meteor will hit after 15 seconds. After 15 seconds, the meteor will come down and obliterate anyone caught in the circle. It will also cause raid-wide fire damage. Again, this ability is casted about every 30 seconds. Once you get the bosses to 25% health, they pop Lust and their damage is increased by 25%.
This is when you will probably want to pop Lust as well. Chances are your raid will be tight for room around this time.
Tanks will need to pick up 1 boss and 1 mount at the beginning of the fight. The bosses should be tanked side by side and kind of to the outside of the area. This becomes much more situational as the fight goes on. Tanking locations will be reactionary, but keep the bosses away from Ashen Wall.
Healers will need to down their rideables and be alert for this fight. There are many abilities that will cause random damage to raid members, and there is an unavoidable AoE damage from the Falling Ash.
Toxic Mist Dot will also be something to look out for. You should probably start using defensive cooldowns once the bosses are at 25% health. The DPS need to kill the mounts as previously mentioned. When the slimes spawn, ranged DPS need to switch over and kill them ASAP. Kite the adds away from the raid if you need to kite them. Everyone should remember to stay out of the foul stream and move it away from players if targeted. Don't be the guy who stands in Falling Ash and takes 5 gazillion damage. Stay away from the Ashen Walls. Don't come in contact with toxic clouds or tornadoes, and don't stand at the spawning locations of slimes.
That's all you need to know for now to get through this fight with minimal rage quits.
Good luck, adventurer.